Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to study the muscles of anterior compartment of thigh. In this topic, we'll discuss the origin, insertion, nerve supply, and action of the muscles of the anterior fascial compartment of thigh. So let's start. Our first muscle is Sartorius muscle. This muscle can be said as the longest muscle of our thigh. The origin of this muscle is anterior superior iliac spine. From the anterior and superior part of the iliac spine, this muscle is originated. And the insertion of this muscle is the upper medial surface of shaft of tibia. As you can see in the picture, that the green shaded muscle is Sartorius muscle. The next one is iliacus muscle. The origin of this muscle is iliac fossa of hip bone. In this picture, it is clearly shown the origin of this muscle at the iliac fossa of the hip bone, and the insertion of this muscle is as at the lesser trochanter of the femur. Now, let's talk about the action of this muscle. The action of this muscle is to flex the thigh on the trunk. If the thigh is fixed, it flexes the trunk on the thigh. So the next one is psoas muscle. Now the origin of the psoas muscle is other than the lower limb. It is originated from the 12th thoracic vertebral body and the intervertebral disc of the lumbar vertebrae. And the insertion of this muscle is at the lesser trochanter of femur along with the iliacus muscle. Now the action of this muscle is flex the thigh on the trunk. The next muscle is pectinius muscle. The origin of this muscle is superior ramus of pubis. This muscle is over here. The green part is the pectinius muscle. It's a kind of small muscle. Then the insertion of this muscle is at the lesser trochanter of femur along with the psoas and iliacus. The function of this muscle is flexion and adduction of thigh at hip joint. The next muscle is Quadratus femoris. Now, quadratus femoris is for four muscles. The four muscles include rectus femoris, vestus literalis, vestus medialis, and vestus intermedius. So, first of all, let's discuss the rectus femoris. The rectus femoris has two heads. The first one is straight head, and the second one is reflected head. So we'll talk about the origin of the both heads. So the origin of the straight head is anterior iliac spine, from the anterior part of the iliac spine, and it insert at the quadricep tendon of patella. Now on the other head, reflected head. The reflected head is originated from the ilium above the acetabulum cavity, and the insertion of the both heads it's same at the quadricep tendon into patella. As you can see in the picture, the green shaded part is the rectus femoris muscle. So the next one. In the next part, I have explained three muscles in a single slide. All these three muscles are the vestus literalis, vestus medialis, and vestus intermedius. The origin and insertion of these three muscles is same. The origin is upper end and shaft of femur. All these three muscles originate from the upper end and shaft of femur. The vestus literalis muscle is present on the lateral side, this one, and the vestus medialis is present on the medial side at this one. The vestus intermedius is not shown in this picture. This long muscle present shown over here, this is the rectus femoris muscle. The origination of this muscle is at the quadricep tendon in patella, as same as the rectus femoris. The action of this muscle is extend the leg at the knee joint. Now we'll talk about the sensory innervation of all these muscles. So the sensory innervation of all these muscles is femoral nerve, except one muscle. The muscle that is called the psoas muscle. The origin of this muscle was different from the lower limb, and it was originated from the vertebral discs. So the innervation of this muscle is also different from the other anterior fascial compartment of the thigh. So all the muscles from the anterior fascial compartment of thigh are innervated by femoral nerve, except the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle is innervated by the lumbar plexus. So this was all from today's lecture.